Alright guys, so this is gonna be one of my first vlog style videos. So today I'm going to be shooting a podcast for one of my friends, and I'm hoping to get some dope footage that I can possibly use for my show reel. Just because within my show reel I want to show a lot more documentary style work, and although this is a podcast, it's a 2-person interview, so I want to try practicing some lighting with that. So I'm going to be bringing over my lights. Right now I'm in my storage unit, just grabbing and getting together some of the gear, and then I'm gonna head over to the shoot. It's for one of my friends. He's a barber and he's trying to start this podcast just to help him with branding and stuff, so it should be fun, and yeah, join me on the journey. Alright, so as far as gear that I'm packing for this shoot, I have my FX6 here that I always keep inside of this main cage. So this is my FX6, all the bolts and whistles. These are some SLR magic lenses that I bought for fun to try out. I like them. They're kind of like vintage lenses in a cinema glass, and I use them for like stylistic shoots, mainly like documentaries. But for a situation like this where we want more control, this is not the right lens selection for the job, especially since I'm going to be shooting this myself. I need something with autofocus. So this is my FX6. In my other camera case, I have I have 3 lenses, one of which is on this camera right now. So this lens I'm using right here is the Sony 20mm, and then I have the Sigma 28-45, the Tamron 70-180, a couple of batteries, some audio stuff. I have a drone here which I'm definitely not using for this shoot, and yeah, just a bunch of other stuff. And then I have 3 lights, and this was my conundrum. I'm going to bring this GMV 650B light. It's a very powerful light, very strong, very nice, but it's also like very heavy, and just like it's a very big setup. Like you can't, it's just a very big setup. Like you have to set it up on a C-stand. It's best to have sandbags or something like this just because of how heavy it is. It's a powerful light that I would use like to overpower the sun and maybe put outside. It's a little overkill for this kind of shoot. And then I have the Forza 60B. I have 2 of these. So my goal was to eventually buy a Nanlite 300. I think it's a FS. It's very cheap now. You could get it for around $250, and I feel like it would be a great complement for these two. And a lens, not a lens. It's a light that I could bring in situations like this, where it's like I want to bring gear, but I want to kind of travel light at the same time. I need something powerful because he has a big studio, so I don't want to just show up with the 60B lights and they're not strong enough. It'll be perfect. I have really 3 tripods. I don't know where my main tripod is. My guess is that I left it in the car, so I'm gonna go check on that. And then I have 2 modifiers, and I'm gonna go grab some C-stands and stuff and, you know, pack up to go. But that's pretty much what I'm working with for this shoot, and yeah, it should go well. This right here is actually a wagon that I got from Amazon a couple years back, and I usually use this to transport a lot of my gear. And to be honest with y'all, this was probably one of the best investments ever. At some point I want to get a nice production cart, but y'all know with the cost of everything's expensive. So if you need something that is affordable but can help you transport your gear safely from your car to wherever, or from wherever to your car, getting something like this is definitely beneficial. So I'm about to pack up. Okay, now I will say one mistake I definitely made in life was I got a regular small size sedan when I went and got a new car, instead of getting a big car that was better for filmmaking. So I definitely understand why people use grip trucks and things like that. Alright y'all, so I'm headed to the shoot soon. A couple things come to mind when I think about packing. It's just a drag, right? Carrying all the gear and stuff, especially when you're by yourself. To me, it's never fun. One thing that I'm definitely looking into investing into the next year will be, like we talked about, smaller lights. lights that are meant for travel more, and then I could bring out, you know, the bigger lights if I'm on a production that requires that stuff. But just like things that are more easily portable. So I'm gonna be looking for, you know, lighter things when it comes to that department. But the car is packed. I'm on my way to the shoot. I don't know what to expect. Another thing about this, so I'm doing this basically as a favor to a friend, and he mentioned to me that it's a podcast, but I'm not really sure what they're going to be talking about for real. I'm not really sure how they're going to be seated or how they're going to be sitting, you know, all that stuff. So I'm going to go and just adapt to the environment and just, you know, do the best that I can with the situation I'm given. I have seen the shop before, so I kind of know how it looks. I know it's pretty dark in there, which is why I made sure I packed good lights. And yeah, hopefully the shoot goes really well, and y'all keep you guys updated. Also, another thing, a little problem that I'm having right now is I can't find my main tripod for my FX6. So that's my small rig tripod. Now I have other tripods, but they're not meant for a heavier setup like that. So I'm gonna fill it out and see how it goes. The FX6 is kind of like just an addition. I'm actually bringing it just because depending on how it's shot, I feel like I could possibly use some of these shots for my reel that I'm working on by the end of the year. So I wanted to bring my FX6 out so I can get, you know, the best of the best. But if that's a problem, he does have a Sony A7 IV, and I have my A7 IV, which I'm recording on right now. So I can possibly just shoot it with those two cameras. But hopefully right now I'm driving back down to where his shop is, and that's where my parents live. It's a long situation, but I have two different cars, so my other car is actually parked there. I'm hoping that I left my tripod in my other car, because the last time I used that car, I had a shoot last week Saturday, and I had that tripod with me, so I'm pretty sure I might have left it there. So I'm not really stressed. I'm gonna go check for it over there, and if it's not there, then I'm gonna have to pivot. So yeah, let's go. All right, so the thing I feared just happened. So I went and checked my other car for my tripod, the small rig tripod that I usually use with my FX6, and it wasn't there. So my guess is last weekend I had a shoot for a non-profit at a school, and I brought a lot of gear myself, and I was shooting that myself, so I didn't have any help like packing up and all that. And something like that tripod is something that I can easily probably forget about. So my guess is I probably left it at that school. So I'm gonna reach out to them tomorrow when they're actually open to see if it was left there, and then go and pick it up. To be honest, I'm in the market for a brand new tripod anyway, so I feel like this is giving me the excuse to go ahead and upgrade my tripod. I've been looking at the Sony, but I'm gonna just go and look at Manfrotto, all the different options that may be out there, because I don't want to cheap out on a tripod like I did with this tripod. This tripod was giving me a lot of trouble. Sometimes when I'll set my camera on there, it would kind of like slide back a little bit, which is not what you want out of a tripod. So the small rig tripod is cool, guys, but just make sure you invest in something that, you know, is good over the long run. So I'm gonna do my research on that. If you guys have any suggestions for me, please let me know. As for this shoot, so this is something I probably would have noticed 5 days ago if this was a shoot that was on my calendar. This is a favor that I'm doing for a friend. He kind of hit me up last minute, and I said I don't have any problem coming to help him out filming it, and I decided to bring my gear because I thought it was gonna be something cool that I could add to my portfolio. But it looks like I'm gonna have to pivot. He actually has another camera, so I'm gonna use his other camera and one of his tripods, and then I have all my lights and stuff, so I'll make sure it's lit well. And yeah, my A7 IV is definitely more than capable of capturing amazing footage. I think it has a downsampled 6K sensor or something like that, so the images that I get out of this camera that I'm currently vlogging on are always like completely amazing. Whenever I travel, this is the main camera I bring with me. And yeah, this is a sleeper camera, so if you guys are looking for your first camera to buy, you want something that's flexible. The reason why I got the A7 IV is because it allowed me the flexibility of also taking photos. I think it has like, I don't want to say how many megapixels it has because I don't remember. I'm not that big of a tech guy, but it has a lot. It has enough for you to be able to print photos. It's definitely capable. I know a lot of like wedding photographers and stuff that use the A7 IV, but then it also has a lot when it comes to video, and it allows me to be flexible. The only caveat that it has, which I used to see as a caveat, but now I absolutely love it, is that when you shoot 60 frames per second, it has a crop factor, so it has a 1.5 crop factor. The beauty of this though is that it gives me more flexibility with my lenses. I can put this camera in crop mode at 24 frames, 60 frames, wherever I'm shooting at. I can intentionally put this camera in crop mode just so that I can get further onto my subject. So that Tamron 70 to 180 lens that I use, I primarily use it on this camera because it allows me to get more reach, and then I use my other lenses on my FX6. So if you guys are looking for a camera, definitely get an A7 IV. But this is the beauty of having a backup camera, because God forbid this was a gig that I was getting paid for, I definitely would have had to find a solution. So yeah, just some knowledge out there for you guys, but nothing too stressful. I'm gonna go hopefully pick up my tripod tomorrow. If they can't find it, then I was planning on ditching it anyway, so it's fine. It wasn't really that expensive. I didn't buy the highest brand of the small rig. I believe it was about 150, and hopefully I'm able to get it, because if I do get it, I'm gonna still keep it and use it for my B cam, which is the A7 IV. It's way lighter, so I feel like it will work well with it. But just keep y'all updated. But I'm almost there, and then we'll get to the shoot and see how it goes.
All right, guys, so I made it to the shop safe and sound. At this moment right here, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to set up my lights. These lights do run on V-mount batteries, and although I did have them, I always prefer to go to the outlet first, just because I didn't know how long the podcast was going to run, and I wanted to make sure that we had that great source of power all around. So I had it plugged into the wall right there, but I was really just trying to find the angle of where we were going to shoot the podcast. One of the main people that is in the podcast, my friend Mill, the barber, he didn't arrive yet. So I just got there a little early, and I was trying to, fill it out and figure out what I can do. So I'm just contemplating all those things to figure out lighting.
All right, so we getting ready to shoot this podcast on. This is the setup I got going on. So we have the A7 IV, the Tamron 7180. We got the A7 R5 with my boy Mills 24 to 70 GM lens, so that should be cool to use. My boy Mills, say what's good to the camera. Alright. He said you know the vibe. So it should be fun. We're gonna see how it comes out. I'm very excited. I have this hair light, this catch light back here that should be catching them, and it's a pretty simple, straightforward shoot. So
now, I think one thing that's very important to address is the whole concept and idea of doing free work, also doing spec work. So this is one of my friends that I'm close with, and he does own a business. So with that, there's more opportunity for growth, more opportunity for chances to do creative and fun videos. But also, when I feel like a shoot aligns with what I'm trying to put into my portfolio, and then on top of that, I have a relationship with a client, I always look for those opportunities and never turn those opportunities away. This was a great chance for me to practice my lighting. Yes, it was simple, but at the same time, it just gives me a chance to get those reps in, to get those push-ups in, and just practice and also help out a friend in the process. And hopefully by the end of this, I'm able to get some decent footage that I can include in my show reel, or nonetheless include in my portfolio, just to show corporate clients that I am capable of shooting a 2-person interview and shooting it in high quality. So that was my reason behind taking this gig and doing this gig to begin with. I feel like in the beginning of my filmmaking journey, once I started to get some clients, I didn't want to do free work, and I feel like that was a big mistake. So moving forward, I want to do work that's fulfilling and that adds value to my portfolio. So a lot of the creative shoots and the creative ideas that I have for myself, I'm going to this year, well, next year, I'm going to be creating and putting those things out there so that I can have better opportunities to get in front of people, to network, and so that I can have better opportunities to practice and to just get better at my craft. So for all you guys out there, never be afraid of putting in those reps and doing those push-ups. Don't wait for someone to pay you in order for you to do something. All right, and as for the shot, I'm pretty happy with what I was able to accomplish, especially with the resources I was giving. I think they're going to be extremely happy with the content that they got, and I think I'm gonna have something that I can also include inside of my portfolio just to show what I'm capable of doing. Again, this was a very, very simple shoot, and I only had 2 cameras during this time. One camera was shooting wide, and the other camera, I kind of bounced back and forth between both people speaking. Ideally, if I had all the gear in the world, I would use 3 cameras for this setup and it would be absolutely perfect, but I'm pretty happy. Alright guys, so as I pack up, go back inside of the house, thought I'd just talk to you guys about today more. Hopefully you guys don't mind this iPhone content. I put my camera away and all that because I was using it to shoot, and yeah, but today I'm very tired, but I felt like the shoot went really well. I used one of his cameras as the second camera angle, and then I still used my FX6. I just propped it up in different places just to get a third camera view, a third look. Yeah, for the most part, I feel like it worked out absolutely fantastic. Like I was able to get a lot of good looks. Something to take note of, something that I feel like I learned is this week or within the next week or so, I'm definitely going to take the time to invest in one more light. I love the lights that I have, but I feel like I want some lights that are a little more portable but still have strength. Still able to put out a lot of output. So I'm currently in the market and I'm looking. If you guys have suggestions, definitely let me know. There's one that I'm really leaning towards right now that I might get, and I'll definitely make a video on it. But if you guys have better options, I'll look into it, and if I like it, I'll get it. So that's definitely one thing, just adding more lights. Right now I have a GMV 650 bicolor light, but then I also have 2 Nan lights. I have the two Nan light 60Bs, the second version that came out, and those work really well if I'm in a small room, I'm shooting like, you know, quick stuff, I'm at a wedding. I can use those as like just little lights that I can put up and get good output out of. But I'm looking for something with a little bit more kick, so something around that 300 range. And yeah, but today was cool. Even though it was just a project for my friend, it wasn't something that was really bringing in revenue. It gave me an opportunity to just, you know, practice my lighting more, practice composition, you know, just get out and use my cameras, and I definitely always appreciate that. So thank you guys all for tuning in, watching this video. I hope you guys learned something just from, you know, watching my experience, and I'm gonna look to do more of these vlog videos more. I'm not sure how many views I might get off of something like this, but if you guys are still here, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, and yeah, I actually had a lot of fun doing this, so I feel like I'm gonna do it more often.